Welcome to today's episode of the Staffing Evolution Podcast. My name is Michael Schneider. I'm the owner and CEO of Omega Digital Services. We specialize in helping staffing and recruiting firms grow their business and scale their revenue using the latest AI technology. On this podcast, we dive into the business of staffing and recruiting and learn about cutting-edge strategies that successful staffing and recruiting firms are using to grow their business today. So if you want to learn more about how to take your staffing or recruiting firm to the next level, stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, drop the word growth in the comments or DMs or hit me up on LinkedIn. My guest today is the handsome and talented Jamie Riley, the president at Pharma Search Partners out of South Carolina. Jamie, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Michael. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Okay. Pharma Search Partners, and that's PHARMA. Been in business since December 2005. Prior to that, I was with an agency for a few years. I had just recently retired from the Marine Corps before I got into this, and learned how just amazing it is, what it takes to build these compounds to treat diseases or pains, what have you, or build these devices, and dove into it with both feet and loved it so much I opened my own company. Been doing it now 25 years.
Okay. What is your core offering?
My core offering is finding the people you can't find that tend to be very niche. Like toxicology, pharmacology, pharmacoepidemiology, very deep sciences or therapeutic expertise.
Okay. And tell me about your journey once you started the company. How did you get it bootstrapped? How did you find your first clients? How has the business evolved since the beginning?
That was the military connection, honestly. I was a rookie, and I called a gentleman that was at Sharing Plow at the time. He was the head of preclinical research and development. He pulled up my LinkedIn profile, saw I was recently retired, and he was a former military guy. And he said, okay, I know you don't know a whole lot what you're doing, but I'm going to teach you, but I need somebody to get things done. And you're a go-get-it kind of guy, so let's go. And we worked together till he retired about 4 years ago. And he took me with him when he left Sharing and went to another company. Then he left that company, and I put him in another company. And I mean, it's been a great journey, and some outstanding people he's involved me with that have since gone to other companies or done startups. So a lot of it's been word of mouth.
Yeah. And beyond word of mouth, do you do any marketing? Do you do any outreach?
I publish articles for Pharma Now magazine. I do some postings on LinkedIn. We do make calls to companies, especially in those areas I mentioned, toxicology, pharmacology, things like that, to help companies to find those. And I like to focus on the startups to medium size because they have trouble drawing the talent from the bigger pharma.
Right.
So I like working with those.
Okay. And what about the attracting the talent, the other side of the equation? What's your approach there?
My process it's actually pretty simple. If I'm working with the company, then I believe in what they're doing. And I've done the due diligence. I've read the publications. I've looked at the clinical trial data. I've looked at a lot of their development aspects so that I can speak freely about the company and understand the internals. I've spoke to hiring managers. I spoke to C-level. So I don't consider myself a vendor. I'm more of a partner that I believe in what they're doing.
Hmm.
and I broadcast that to the candidate.
Mm-hmm. So you bring that mission kind of focus.
Very much, very much.
Nice, yeah. And then when you have a job, you're looking for a particular type of candidate. What's your process for screening and finding candidates?
Well, the core capabilities, obviously, if they meet what the hiring manager wants from a skills perspective, but it's also a personality perspective. It's also a leadership perspective. How do I feel this person's going to work with, say, the junior chemist or junior manufacturing people? And a lot of that's based on how they treat me, how they talk to me.
Mm.
If they're condescending to me, how are they going to be to a rookie engineer or to the secretary?
Yeah.
So I look at it as though I am the hiring manager. I guess that's the best way to look at it. When I screen a candidate, if I'm the vice president of research and development or vice president of pharmacology, would I hire this gentleman to work for me?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And is it primarily manual search? Do you incorporate any type of search tools? Do you use certain platforms?
I've got a very large database, 25 years of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 178,000 people in there.
Wow.
Plus I have, I don't know, 21,000. I don't know what the number is on LinkedIn I'm connected with. And there's people I know, that I can call and say, hey, I've got this weird one here. Toxicology or neurodegenerative disease. Who do you know? And they say, hey, call John over at, so a good network, real good network.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So primarily network-based, word-of-mouth based, in a database that you've built up yourself over time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's a real good asset to have.
Yeah. And I read publications. So I can pull a publication and find the authors, find the candidate.
Right. That makes sense too. You reach out to authors of publications.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And is that all manual on your part? Do you have any tools that automate the search for you?
It's manual.
Manual. Okay.
I'm not a huge believer in getting on the AI bandwagon to do that stuff because it misses people.
Right. And you work, is there one man shop? Do you have any?
No, I've got a staff. I've got people that support me. I do, everything goes through me, all the recruiting, but I have sourcers and that work for me that I tell them, I need these skill sets. Go through the database, find them, send them to me. If they're fit, I'll talk to them.
Mm-hmm. So you do all the client contact and the candidate contact.
Every bit of it. That's right. That's right.
Right. Yeah, that human connection is real critical.
Yeah, and it's lacking in today's business.
Mm-hmm. What do you see as trends in the industry?
This past year was brutal. I was just working on an article that I'm writing. It was bad. A lot of layoffs, a lot of reorgs, and that was something that I said was coming in June of 2024 in an article I wrote. And it was a lot of things. Changed NIH, changed FDA, changed the U.S. government, the stock market, and investors holding money, making it harder to get money for the startups and the expansions. But that's now evolving. And you look at all the acquisitions going on, you look at all the companies, and not just pharma and biotech, that are coming back to the country or expanding and building manufacturing sites here. We've turned the corner, and next year's we'll be back, pretty much back to normal, if not stronger than normal.
How do you think there's been some pretty drastic cuts at NIH? How are you seeing that play out?
from the startups that I've spoke with that receive grants and things like that, they saw some bumps, but it's getting better. It's not perfect, but it's getting better.
Okay. Are you finding candidates are getting kind of burnt out on the experience of applying now with a lot of companies bringing on the AI technology that starts to feel more impersonal?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And there were some companies on the AI thing a year and a half ago. There were companies then wanting AI to be incorporated in certain roles in drug discovery, and it was too junior. And they spent 18 months looking for a unicorn. It didn't exist. Yeah, there are people now figuring out that that beast has a place.
Like using AI in drug discovery and pharma?
Yeah, in large data sets, working through large data sets, health outcomes, things of that nature. But it does not have the human capacity to interface with people or pick people because of skill sets, publications, or what have you. It can't do that.
Yeah. So, what about, candidates talking about their experience, when, I've definitely heard a lot of people talking about, applying at hundreds of places and just getting AI responses back. And then there's kind of an arms race, honestly, right? Because the candidates start using AI to apply for them, to AI to draft their letters and their craft their resumes and try to send them out. So how do you see that playing out? Maybe that doesn't affect as much the high end of the market where you're operating.
And there are people I've known for years that were part of these reorgs that I've been coaching. And there's a lot of people I've been helping, giving them guidance on how to do that. Yeah, AI can tag your resume to bring out the highlights of how it fits a job, but if you just entrust it to write for you, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
And in today's market, if you read a job description, and most of them are very generic. There's some hiring managers put their pen to paper, some don't. They rejuvenate something that's 2 years old and recast it out there. I always tell the candidate, if you're a scientist that understands this job and you've done it, you've been there, done that, what's not mentioned in there? Is there a skill that maybe you need to include that's not in that description? Because most hiring managers that I speak to, probably, I'll say 90%, 95%, they'll give me a description, I'll read it, and then I'll say, okay, I've read this, I understand you want A, B, C, D. What else do you want? And invariably across the board, there's 3 or 4 other things that's not in the description that a traditional scientist, whether it's, again, pharmacology or formulations, what have you, would have, but it's not in that description. But that's what he wants or she wants.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good piece of advice. That's something where you could, as a candidate, use AI to help you find those pieces. It could help to uncover those extra talking points that you can hit in your resume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What other places do you see AI used effectively?
There are some of the people I communicate with that are using it again for large data sets. And in omni-channel work, which is the advertising aspect, the social media and all that, it works good there. It's getting used more in the compound development side. Again, dealing with large data sets in order to do that. But it's a learning process. You got to feed that animal so that it works right. And I think the bumps in the road are behind us now on that perspective. But from a human perspective, a HR perspective, a talent pool selection perspective, we got a ways to go because it's missing a lot of people, good people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And are you seeing, you mentioned, you're starting to see people, hiring managers looking for the AI skills and large data set skills combined with the higher end science skills. How is it finding those people? There must not be very many.
That gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people out there in the industry that are now grasping that AI tool and learning it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not pros, they're not expert, they're not certified, and you can't expect them to be certified.
There is no certified.
Yeah, but if they understand how that tool helps them deliver their compounds or their drug discovery projects better, easier, faster, that's what you want. It's coming along.
Yeah. That's a place where you almost have to be able to apply your science skills to learn the science of AI, not just the science of pharmacy and all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those people probably command quite a premium once they've demonstrated that ability.
Yes. And not only hard to find, but when you find them, you're going to deal with the golden handcuffs. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
They'll have multiple offers on the table.
Very much so. Very much so.
And how do you help candidates navigate that? Do you work, well, I guess since you're representing the client, not the candidate, when they get multiple offers on the table, you're there to kind of pitch your client, the mission of their client probably is part of what you're bringing to the table to convince them to come over.
My model of dealing with the candidates is a little bit different than that. I try to represent both parties.
Okay.
Okay. If I'm talking to you, for an example, because of what you do in podcasting, we'll say for an omni-channel role, I want to find out, what are you looking for? There are obviously the compensation aspect. There's the core job, but then there's there's tangible and intangible. And I want to find out what makes you tick. And then I can broadcast that to my client better. And if the money's close, which is not everything, then I will tell my client, look, he's kind of at the top of the spectrum, but here's what he likes or is concerned of. And I try and handle both sides. And I don't have a problem being honest with either the client or the candidate, saying, hey, this is either a great fit or we need to walk away.
Yeah. People appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, that's the best way to be.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your goals for the business going forward?
I'm going to continue enjoying what I do. I love what I do. I'm hoping to get a little bit more involved with a lot of these fantastic startup companies and companies that are clinical stage companies. They haven't got anything on the market. I like working with those because they're serious. They everybody on that team believes in what they're doing. They're not this 3 million people conglomerate that.
Yeah.
I like working with those because they're serious, and seeing new things come to market. And there's so much out there targeting diseases that for years got very little notification. Everybody's chasing oncology, but there's more neurodegenerative diseases out there now. There's a company today I'm looking at. They got 7 different compounds they're testing for muscular dystrophy. How many years did we all see the Jerry Lewis telethon, and now look what's happening? Those are the ones I enjoy working with.
And what's your approach to finding those companies?
I look for who needs. And then I look at what do they need it for. Maybe they're just, a clinical stage and there's 20 people, but they need this type of person. I'll call right into whoever runs the company and say, hey, you need this, I can help you.
So direct approach.
Direct approach.
Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like that's working for you well.
Yeah. And, don't waste time. Not going to waste yours. Not going to let anyone waste mine.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Well, I just have one final question. If anybody watching this podcast wants to get in touch, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
My website is Pharma, that's PHARMA, searchpartners.com. Call me on the phone, 803-691-6867, or drop me an email. I'm on LinkedIn. I write articles on LinkedIn, so I'm pretty easy to find on there.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time. Thank you.